Welcome, traveler, to this production on Cue, a historical gold mining town located in the Murchison of Western Australia. Cue is about 650 kilometers northeast of Perth. It has a population of about 400 people. It boasts of the former Shire President Herbert Hoover, who later, of course, became a president of the U.S. Gold was discovered in 1892. The location of Cue is shown on this map between Meekatharra and Mount Magnet. This regional map of the Murchison shows the surrounding gold mining areas, including Meekatharra, Cue, Mount Magnet, Sandstone, and Paynes Fine. All the statistics you might need to know about Cue. It's got a desert climate. A Google shot just showing the layout of the town. With 400 people, it's certainly not very large. You can count the houses. The main street is on the Great Northern Highway. The surrounding country is very picturesque. Mining dumps. Cue, once known as the Queen of the Murchison, boasted of about 10,000 people in 1900. The town is named after an early prospector, Tom Cue, who later went on to prospect in the Yukon and British Columbia. Following the discovery, the town grew rapidly. Within days, 400 miners poured in. A shanty village appeared overnight almost. The wide streets was an indication of the size that the founders thought the village would grow. Mary Vivian arrived in 1900 and published a book in which she wrote very positively about the thriving city of Cue. She says, "Electric lights in the streets, horses and carts, the small shrill whistle of a railway." An 1894 picture of the first mayor of Cue. A car in 1909 in Cue. Looking at the pictures, one can sense the permanence about Cue. It's obvious that the miners who arrived in the early 1890s and made their fortunes on the rich gold reefs thought that their town was one of substance and importance. They were letting the world know they were wealthy men and deserved to live in a prosperous kind of environment. The Premier of Western Australia, Sir John Forrest, backed the idea of a railway, and the railway was completed in 1897. It was a great day for Cue. The railway was eventually discontinued, I think in 1988. 1,500 people turned out for the grand opening of the railway, the 20th of April, 1897. My name's Don, and I only spent about 3 to 4 hours in Cue. I was traveling from Perth to Darwin and back with a 20-foot caravan pictured here. It's a 40-degree day, and I was somewhat rushed running around, learning about the town and taking photographs. I was very intrigued by the Masonic Hall on Robinson Street. It's the largest two-story galvanized building built in the southern hemisphere, and it was completed in 1899 with a pressed tin interior. This historic building really needs to be restored. One of the few modern buildings in Cue is the Cue Shire Hall. Bell's Emporium has a long tradition. It was a small stone building built by Robert Barr in the early 1900s, operated as a typical small town store. A larger store was built in 1936 from galvanized iron. Next to it is the Queen of the Murchison Hotel. What a magnificent old hotel. Looking down the main street. A number of the older galvanized buildings are abandoned or no longer used. Another hotel, the Club Hotel. Lots of tourists through this area during the winter months. The original Bank of New South Wales. The side streets are wide. The government buildings indicate the sense of permanence that local residents regarded the area. They were built in 1896 and housed the post office and police station. The clock in the post office was donated by Sir John Forrest, and it was a major job winding it, with a large counterweight having to be lifted. The pendulum of the clock weighs 50 kilograms. Impressive buildings for a town of 300 people. Primary school art symbolizing mining in Cue, gold, and local flora and fauna. The old gaol, or jail, was built between 1896 and 97. It's interesting, it's now the entrance to a caravan park. Strangely, it once was built next to the police station. I was quite intrigued by the pensioners' huts. These neatly lined buildings were built to accommodate pensioners. They're very small and built from timber and corrugated iron. They were relocated here in 1958. The Murchison Club Hotel. The band rotunda, built in 1904, dedicated to the pioneers of the area, is a landmark. An early photo of the rotunda, the Cue Hotel, in the background. In 1900, Cue was the center of the Murchison goldfields, with a population of 10,000 people. It started to decline after the First World War, with many of the miners going off to fight. Then the Depression reduced the price of gold, and the population dropped to less than 500. Today the current population is about 300. The major employment is the Day Dawn mine with 70 people. The Shire of Cue employs 10 people, and the rest are self-employed as prospectors or supplying tourists. Thanks for joining me, dear traveler, in this short production on the history and the town of Cue today. I hope you have a great day.